Good evening, and thank you for joining us for NOIAW's annual Epiphany celebration for 2022. And now, our host for the evening, Professor Gemma Puglisi from American University.
Thank you so much, Charity. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining the National Organization of Italian American Women's 2022 Annual Epiphany Celebration. I am Gemma Puglisi, and I first would like to say how honored I am to host tonight's event on behalf of this wonderful organization. Every year, the regions of NOIAW, representing Connecticut, Rhode Island, Greater New York, and Washington, D.C., host the Wise Women event in their respective territories. Tonight, we will be continuing in our tradition of honoring three wise women. This year, three regions, Connecticut, Greater Washington, D.C., and Greater New York, are jointly hosting this Epiphany event, honoring one wise woman from each region. The Rhode Island region was not able to participate this year, so we look forward to their participation next year. Tonight's program will include an awards ceremony featuring our three wise women honorees, special messages from notable Italian American women, and Italy's new consul general, and a raffle prize drawing. So please be sure to stay with us until the end to see if you win. Just a bit of history and memories to introduce you to our organization and update you on what we've been up to. NOIAW was founded in 1980 with a mission to inspire, connect, and empower women through their shared Italian culture and heritage. When you look around today and you see the ever-widening pool of talented young Italian American women making their mark in the medical, legal, education, political, and professional world and beyond, you understand why our organization is still very important and how our mission is as relevant now as it was back in 1980. Over the past year, our cultural programs, most of which are now offered virtually, continue to enrich the lives of our members, allowing us to bring together Italian American women from all over the country and the world, while in the comfort and safety of their homes. In the past, we have been able to produce hundreds of in-person events and programs along the East Coast. The availability of virtual meetings through such platforms like Zoom has greatly increased our reach and scale, and we are now able to share events from the East Coast across the country and globally. Starting with our virtual Epiphany in January, NOIAW met the challenges of pandemic restrictions by presenting a wide array of virtual programs featuring educational, entertaining, and culturally enlightening content. Highlights of the virtual programs included a panel featuring midwives in Italy and other countries discussing the history of this profession and trends in maternal health care, the importance of Mother Cabrini and her work with immigrant populations, the traditions surrounding the feast of St. Joseph, and the origins of Father's Day in Italy. A behind-the-scenes tour of a woman-owned olive grove in Italy, where the oil is known as Rome's liquid gold. A fascinating talk live from Calabria with Italy's first woman rabbi, and a stimulating virtual tour of the latest exhibit at CIMA, the Center for Italian Modern Art in New York. Of course, we celebrated NOIAW's 40th anniversary gala virtually in May 2021. We were able to enjoy one outdoor luncheon in person at St. Rocco's Bakery on Long Island, and a holiday season get-together in December following all local COVID protocols. We look forward to offering more in-person encounters as the situation improves. And this past year, we proudly awarded scholarships to 7 young, impressive Italian American women pursuing undergraduate, graduate, and doctoral degrees at the following institutions: Johns Hopkins University, Chicago Medical School, Columbia University, Georgetown University, Montclair State University, and the University of Rhode Island. We are now accepting applications for our 2022 scholarship cycle. The deadline to apply, Thursday, March 31st. Passing on the torch to the next generation is such a special part of our mission. So please, we encourage all that are eligible to apply. We at NOIAW fondly remember past trips to Italy, and we look forward to a future where we can travel to the regions of Italy again, because connecting to our roots is such an integral part of our mission. We are hoping to have another trip to Italy later in 2022 or 2023, so stay tuned. We are privileged to have with us this evening the Consul General of Italy in New York, Fabrizio Di Michele, who assumed the position in April of this year. He holds the most prominent consular position in the Italian diplomatic service covering New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Bermuda. His 26 years in the Italian Foreign Service include posts at Italian embassies in Kinshasa and Beijing, followed by assignments in the cabinet of the foreign minister. Please join us in welcoming the Consul General, Fabrizio Di Michele.
I'm very pleased to salute and congratulate the National Organization of Italian American Women, and notably the chair, Maria Tamburri, and through you, all the members of the organization, on the occasion of the 2022 Epiphany celebration. Unfortunately, it is again a virtual event, but it is important to hold it and keep alive the momentum of the organization by recognizing these years 3 wise women and support your fundraising. Actually, COVID has taken away a lot in terms of connections and in-person activities and relations. But at the same time, it has allowed the organization to expand its activities all over the world, reaching places like Australia or Argentina. As we all know, NOIAW is a unique organization for women of Italian heritage, whose aim is to preserve and promote Italian culture and language. I want to praise the different activities of the organization and the cultural, social, and educational realm. It is crucial to recognize and promote the accomplishments and contributions of women of Italian descent. And your mentoring and sponsorships and scholarships are another essential part of NOIAW activities. In this regard, I want to pay tribute to this year's honorees, Nancy, Sarra, Jennifer Nuzzo, and Cammarota Roberson, for their accomplishments in each of their respective positions and roles. Your presence today at this celebration is a further demonstration of the value and quality of this initiative. And our Consulate General remain at your disposal, at disposal of the NOIAW, not only for its institutional and traditional support, but for other activities too. As you might know, we have recently launched a new initiative, which is really focused on promoting the knowledge of Italian and Italian-American women's accomplishments here in New York and the tri-states. So we very much follow on your steps here and want to cooperate with NOIAW to this end. So thank you all for your efforts. NOIAW can keep counting on us and me personally, and my greetings to all the people present today at this celebration.
And now, special messages from 2 outstanding Italian-American women who you are sure to recognize. First, you will hear from Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro of the 3rd Congressional District in Connecticut. She is the chair of the powerful House Appropriations Committee, only the 2nd woman ever to hold this position. Congresswoman DeLauro has served as host of the Connecticut Region's Epiphany for the last 11 years.
Hello, everyone. It's Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, and I am so thrilled to join the National Organization of Italian American Women and all of you gathered here today, not only to celebrate this wonderful organization and all of its good work, but to also recognize the contributions of some outstanding wise women. Each year across the country, we gather to honor Italian American women in our communities who have achieved notable success in their fields of endeavor. It is that focus on the past, the present, and the future that makes this organization so special. It is a true sisterhood. This year, I am thrilled to help celebrate the contributions of Dr. Nancy Sarra, who is from Connecticut and who is also my constituent. I am also delighted to recognize Dr. Jennifer Nuzzo from the greater Washington, D.C. region, and Commissioner Carol Ann Cammarota Roberson from the greater New York region. Many congratulations to these 3 outstanding women. For me, growing up in Worcester Square in New Haven, the spirit of Italy was never stronger. I learned about the world and formed my values wherever people gathered to share their lives and help one another. In our local parish, the Mother Church, St. Michael's, around our kitchen table, at my grandmother's pastry shop, Canestries. Those enduring values of family, faith, and community are what I took with me to the United States House of Representatives. The women we honored today brought those same core values to their work and to their fields. In each their own way, the three outstanding women we honor today are making a difference in the lives of others and enriching our communities through their invaluable contributions. These Italian-American women are thriving, transforming the agenda, and making things happen. Yes, we have, and yes, we will. My mother's generation, my generation, and now this generation, carrying the torch, building the bridge, improving the community together. Now, I'm sure everyone here knows the story of the Epiphany. With that in mind, a member of my staff once sent me an email that has remained with me all these years. It asked, how would the story of the Nativity be different if there were three wise women instead of men? Well, it argues that the three wise women would have asked for directions, arrived on time, helped deliver the baby, cleaned the stable, bought practical gifts, and made some bucatini alla amatriciana. Seriously, though, we come here to honor these wise women for their times and our times, like so many of us here today. They are products of our Italian-American heritage and the strong bonds of family and community it conveys. But while embodying all that is best about our culture, these women and this organization have also worked to transcend its limitations. I was honored to be one of the first recipients of the Wise Woman Awards and feel a deep connection to those who share this honor. I extend my heartfelt congratulations to those honored this year. You are all extraordinary. Thank you for having me here with you today. My very, very best wishes for a healthy and happy new year. Stay safe.
And now we will hear from former Congresswoman Constance Morella, who previously represented the 8th Congressional District of Maryland. She also served as the U.S. Ambassador to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. She has been involved as Master of Ceremonies for the Washington, D.C. Epiphany, as well as several other programs for the region.
Feliz Año Nuevo. Happy New Year to my sisters and to the men who get it. I am pleased to celebrate with you our 2022 wise women. You know, the biblical 3 wise men lost their way, they lost their path. I would submit that wise women would have asked for directions in advance. I want to thank NOIAW for recognizing the achievements of Italian-American women, for choosing and showing appreciation of success, inspiring other women to follow. You know, that path is not smooth. It requires purpose, a plan, passion, patience, and perseverance. And indeed, they have shown that these honorees have been successful on that road. They are models of success who demonstrate to us and to others and enhance our pride in our Italian-American heritage. I want to salute NOIAW for its important work. In addition to this annual Wise Woman Epiphany, what NOIAW has done is it provides scholarships, cultural and educational programs, and it helps young women network with each other, which is very important. I represent the District of Columbia region, which includes Maryland and Virginia, you know, the place of monuments, museums, the federal government, and the capital of the United States. It's a region which is advantaged by its Italian-American women of note. And I want to express a special salute to the DC President, Diana Femia, for having been present at the birth of DC NOIAW and developing it through the years. You know, I think an Italian-American woman, Geraldine Ferraro, comes to mind because she reflected in actions Bella Abzug's motto in terms of helping women She said, I do not believe in knocking on the door to open it for women. I do not believe in banging that door open for women. I believe in taking it off its hinges so it stays open for women. So I want to congratulate NOIA honorees tonight and those people who worked hard for NOIA for being instrumental in their contributions to this open door policy for women. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman Rose DeLauro and Congresswoman Constance Morella, for sharing your heartwarming reflections and insights. None of our programs would have been possible without the strong leadership and effort of our region presidents, councils, and members. Our 4 regions are Connecticut, Greater Washington, D.C., Greater New York, and Rhode Island. Prior to becoming president of NOIA, Pat Tinto served as Connecticut's region president. Bringing together Italian-American women from all corners of the state, the Connecticut region encompasses many leading cultural institutions, museums, theaters, and universities, which all have been an important part of NOIA's growth. Since May 2021, a dedicated group of women whom Pat has called on to help with the transition have guided the region, thanks to Petrina Sapern, Vice President, Victoria Pace, Gina Gallo, Mary Lou DeRosa, Marina Marchese, Anna Mara, and Sandra De La Ripa. Diana Famia, who is NOIA's vice chair, also serves as the Greater Washington, D.C. region president, including the states of Virginia and Maryland. As the center of the country's governing body, the region draws on a number of the surrounding rich cultural institutions, the government, and the Embassy of Italy in Washington, D.C. The D.C. Council includes Giulia Bellotti, Leslie Gigliotti, Emily Deddy, Elizabeth Di Gregorio, Alicia Perno, and yours truly, Gemma Puglisi, who also serves on the national board. Dr. Mary Rose Barranco Morris serves as the Greater New York Region President, which comprises 4 networks: Long Island, Metro New York, Staten Island, and Westchester. The women who coordinate events on behalf of their respective networks are Francesca Rongi, Susan Trocchia, and Betty Santangelo for Long Island, Mary Rose Barranco Morris for Metro New York, and Phyllis Bronson for Staten Island, and Westchester, where our network chair is Kathleen Guglielmo. And a special shout out to Joyce Malerba Goldstein and Nancy Machina, who curate GNY's art exhibitions. Greater New York Council members include Ellie Imporato, Francesca Mariorana, Allison Scola, and Joe Migliori. Robin Tagliaferri was recently selected as the incoming president of the Rhode Island region. Robin is actively working to establish a region council and hopes to have an event during Women's History Month in March. Before we formally introduce our 2022 Wise Women honorees, we wish to recognize the 2021 Wise Women who graciously agreed to be honored last year during our first ever virtual Epiphany celebration. Thank you, Connecticut's Marisa Gianella Porco, co-founder and CEO of the Jordan Porco Foundation. Greater Washington, D.C.'s Amy Guadagnoni, artist, designer, and teacher. New York's Dr. Angela Mangari Mills, Chief of Emergency, Columbia Presbyterian Medical Center, and Rhode Island's Bruna Petrarca Boyle, Italian Adjunct Department of Modern and Classical Languages and Literature, University of Rhode Island. Congratulations to these wonderful 2021 Wise Women. And now, let us introduce our 2022 Wise Women honorees. From Connecticut, Nancy Sarra, Superintendent of the Consolidated District of Branford Schools. From the Greater Washington, D.C. area, Dr. Jennifer Nuzzo, Associate Professor, Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. And from Greater New York, Carol Ann Cammarota, Roberson, MSW, Commissioner, Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, Assistant Commissioner, retired, NYPD. And now our awards ceremony begins. I am so excited. Our first honoree is Connecticut's Wise Woman, Nancy Sarra. Nancy serves as the superintendent of schools for the Consolidated School District of New Britain. Prior to this role, she was the director of teaching and learning for the district. She has advanced degrees in educational leadership from the University of Connecticut and Central Connecticut State University, and is a lifelong resident of the students and families she serves in New Britain. She has been working for New Britain's children for over 20 years, from classroom teacher to building principal. She's committed to all of her students and also emphasizes the importance of leadership development, community service, and STEM education for the district's girls and young women. Nancy also leads a major urban school district. She has dedicated herself to a public education and leads with integrity. In addition to her commitment to the district students, Nancy is also a champion for families and for all of her personnel. Her commitment to family is integrated in the approach she takes, with compassion and with inspiring students to achieve their goals. Given her position as superintendent of a major urban school district, she knows firsthand the importance of a college degree and what scholarship means to financially struggling students. She's innovative and has introduced to the district nationally recognized achievements in preventing summer learning loss and in addressing chronic absenteeism. She's navigated the political challenges that come with being a school superintendent, ever gracious, but appropriately tenacious when it comes to the well-being of students. Integrity, honesty, leadership, vision, innovation all come to mind when thinking of her. Nancy considers herself blessed to have been raised in a very close-knit Italian family. She's proud of being of Italian descent. Her family hails from Pescara and Capistrano. Weekly Sunday dinners after church at Nana's house, where all the extended family came together throughout her childhood, instilled in her the importance of family and love of good foods. Looking back on the strong women in her life, she recognizes the importance of instilling in her children and her grandchildren the values of a strong moral compass, faith and love of family as their true North Star. These are the true measures of success. Queste sono le vere misure di successo. Nancy, thank you for all your extraordinary work and for continuing to inspire and educate so many. On behalf of NOIAW, congratulations on your award. Please share some remarks with us.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here this evening. Growing up in a large extended Italian family was what I considered normal. Having my paternal grandparents and my mother's parents emigrate from Italy in their teen years. My grandmother was one of 7 daughters, resided in a strong Italian-based community in Connecticut, and having 7 sisters, all within walking distance of each other, maintained a strong sense of family that would impact not only their children, their grandchildren, but great and now their great-great-grandchildren. My grandmother and her 6 sisters would meet daily, very early in the morning, to bake the bread, talk about the kids, the husbands, and life in general. The importance of family, commitment to the family, having a strong work ethic as well as a strong moral compass were the underlying themes for most of the discussions, I'm sure, and it was how we raised our own children. I might add that early in my educational career as an elementary teacher, that was how I raised my students. Growing up every Sunday without fail, the extended family came together at Nana and Papa's house right after the 11 o'clock mass. Cousins, aunts, uncles would come together for a full day of visiting, eating the wonderful foods, all homemade, watching our fathers, grandfathers, and uncles play cards or bocce in the backyard. Eating together were some of my fondest memories, and looking back now, experiences many of my friends didn't share, and I wasn't aware of that. At that young age, I didn't realize the life lessons I was learning from the many Italian women in my life. My mom, she was our closest confidant, mentor, and coach. After her graduation, she worked for a few years, and then, typical in the 50s and 60s, settled down with my dad and had three more daughters. A pretty typical scenario. She was a very strong woman, and had she been born today, she could have led as CEO of any company, I'm sure of it. Everything she did with passion, purpose, and an unwavering work ethic. We learned from both of my mother and father that hard work wasn't something to be rewarded, but to be expected 100% of the time. My parents raised us to be strong and independent women. When you think about that in the 1960s, that was pretty progressive. Reflecting on these last 30 years of my educational career, as well as raising my own children along with my husband, Michael, I have parented and I've led as I was raised. And I know that my mother, my grandmothers, and all the strong Italian women in my life would be proud today. What I've learned throughout the years is to set high expectations for yourself and for those around you, focusing on honesty, the importance of working together with that strong work ethic. Above all else is living every day with that attitude of gratitude and humility. I've raised thousands of students with that attitude of gratitude. Life is hard, but understanding the blessings and our privilege given can improve our perspective and our overall health. I'm very grateful for my family, first and foremost, for my friends and my colleagues that have stayed by my side throughout an educational career that is challenging at many times. Having served as a superintendent now in this large urban district over the last 6 years, I've come to appreciate the importance of those enduring relationships, not only during my wins, but they're with you side by side through the hard times. I'd like to thank my colleagues for this nomination and for the National Organization of Italian American Women for recognizing me tonight. And congratulations to the other awardees. And just a message to our young women. It is about hard work. There will be ups and downs. This is a wonderful network to get involved with, to be with like-minded people. So thank you again.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Nancy. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
And now our Greater Washington, D.C. wise woman, Dr. Jennifer Nuzzo. Dr. Nuzzo is a senior scholar at the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security and an associate professor in the Department of Environmental Health and Engineering at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, with joint appointments in the Department of Epidemiology at the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health and the Division of Infectious Diseases at Johns Hopkins School of Medicine. She is also a senior fellow for global health at the Council on Foreign Relations. An epidemiologist by training, her work focuses on global health security with a focus on pandemic preparedness, outbreak detection, and response health systems as they relate to global health security, biosurveillance, and infectious disease diagnostics. She directs the Outbreak Observatory, which conducts in partnership with frontline public health practitioners, operational research to improve outbreak preparedness and response. Dr. Nuzzo is also the leading epidemiologist for the Johns Hopkins COVID-19 Testing Insights Initiative, housed within the Johns Hopkins Coronavirus Research Center. She co-leads the development of the first ever Global Health Security Index, which benchmarks 195 countries' public health and healthcare capacities and capabilities. She is a leader during this challenging time as we are faced to deal with the pandemic and the variant, and we are honored to have an Italian American at the helm. Dr. Nuzzo regularly engages with media to educate and inform about health security trends. And just this past Christmas, her opinion piece, How to Navigate Omicron with Children, was published in the New York Times. Her article was insightful while sharing insights from experts about the variant. Thank you, Dr. Nuzzo. Her articles have also appeared in the Washington Post, USA Today, Fox News, Politico, The Hill, and the Boston Globe. She was featured in Debunking Barat, a television series on the Amazon Prime Video, and her work was featured on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Prior to joining the Center for Health Security, Dr. Nuzzo worked as a public health epidemiologist for the city of New York City. She received her PhD from Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, her SM in Environmental Health from Harvard University, and a BS in Environmental Sciences from Rutgers University. Jennifer, Dr. Nuzzo, on behalf of NOIAW, we thank you and we congratulate you on this award. and for all your incredible contributions to the health field, particularly now, and your extraordinary work during this very challenging time. Congratulations, and please share a few remarks with us.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that kind introduction. And I'd like to extend my deep gratitude to the National Association of Italian American Women, and in particular, Diana Femia of the Washington, D.C. chapter, for this incredible honor and for allowing me to participate in tonight's inspiring event. It's truly a gift to be able to see and hear from so many powerful and accomplished women, particularly women who share my heritage. I very much appreciate this moment of celebration after what's been an incredibly difficult 2 years for the country and for the globe. I'm mindful of the fact, though, that my coming to accept this award and even to meet with you inspiring people is in part for the work that I've done on this pandemic. And I appreciate the recognition, but can't let pass the fact that the pandemic has meant loss for so many people. I have to recognize those losses and honor them in accepting this award. The pandemic has made me acutely aware of my Italian American heritage, even more so, and really how it's shaped me as both a person and a professional. I credit my parents with helping me to decide to pursue a career in public health, even if they didn't know it. My mother was a social worker and my father was a pharmacist. And pretty much if you mix those two fields together, you get a pretty close approximation to what public health is. So I'm grateful to both of them for exposing me to both the powers of medicine and the possibilities and importance of working to support the health and well-being of people, at the population level. And that's really what public health is. Early in the pandemic, I saw things that moved me, in particular, given my Italian American heritage. I mean, this has been personal for so many people, but for me, I saw real moments that struck me because I'm an Italian American. First, we of course saw the really horrifying epidemic unfold in Italy and so many people who lost grandparents and other loved ones. That was the first moment. And then later, not soon thereafter, when we started seeing cases in the United States, I was actually on CNN, or maybe it was Fox News, and I was asked to comment on a super spreading event that afflicted a family, an Italian American family from New Jersey, where multiple relatives were sickened and died as a result of a Sunday family dinner. And that was about as close to home as it could get. I'm also from New Jersey, and I know those dinners, and I know families like that. And I think about that family a lot as I've worked on this pandemic, and know that could have been any of us. I wish I could say that the worst is behind us now, but unfortunately we're still in a very precarious situation, as evidenced by the fact that we're all not sharing a meal together and breaking bread in person. But I can say that I continue to have great hope that we're going to come through this. And if I can point to some upside, I would say that the power of this pandemic has been that I've been able to connect with people that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to meet. And I have met and spoken to so many different people from all across the country and different parts of the world. And this has really been inspiring for me because it has affirmed for me how similar we all are. People ask the same questions over and over again. And I know that we're all just trying to help ourselves and our families. And that has been a real inspiration to me. And I think that the symbol of this event, the Epiphany and that star, I think of that is the star leading us out of this, which is that together we're going to get through this and that we're all very similar. And if we can just remind ourselves of that and think of families and think of others just as other families trying to navigate through this life, I think we'll be so much better. So I despite the challenges in front of us, I am still very confident and inspired that we will come out of this stronger than we've ever been. So thank you so much for this great recognition. And I really am so grateful to be able to hear from everybody and to draw energy and strength from everybody's accomplishments.
Oh my gosh, Jennifer, thank you so much for your beautiful words, your insights, the experience during this very challenging time for you. And most of all, the message of hope that you're giving us all. Thank you so much. And now let us continue with our final honoree. Our 2022 Greater New York Wise Woman is Carol Ann Cammarota Roberson. Carol Ann began her career and community work in a federal anti-poverty program on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, where she lived. The program, which she wrote, served underprivileged youth. Carol Ann received her BA from Hunter College and her master's degree in social work from NYU. She worked at the Rusk Institute at NYU Medical Center for over 11 years as a clinician and was then hired by Mayor Edward Koch as head of the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities. During her administration, $7 million in curb cuts were installed throughout New York City, and major accessibility amendments to the building code were made law. Carol Ann was appointed to the New York City Police Department in 1992 as Assistant Commissioner of the Office of Equal Employment Opportunity to ensure compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act. Eventually, she was appointed Assistant Commissioner of Training and later Assistant Commissioner of Human Resources, Candidate Assessment Division. She retired in 2020. She's a member of the Board of Directors for the Disability Opportunity Fund and lectures medical students on disability issues. Carol Ann's grandparents came from Italy to make a new life for themselves in the early 1900s. They worked as a fine tailor, a sanitation worker, and Carol Ann's grandmothers worked on lace and sewing at home. Their American-born children married and raised their own families. At age 5, Carol Ann contracted polio and has used a motorized wheelchair for mobility. She now also needs a ventilator to breathe. She is married to Carl for 49 years and has 2 daughters and 5 grandchildren. Carol Ann, you are truly an inspiration. Thank you for being the voice for so many, and thank you for your extraordinary efforts within these 2 vital departments during your career. On behalf of your sisters here at NOIAW, congratulations, and please share a few words with us.
Thank you so much for this wonderful award. I can't tell you how grateful I am to you. In the early 1900s, my grandparents left everything they knew, family, friends, familiar surroundings, and their old beautiful language to travel to America, to New York, in fact. They came by ship in steerage, and after several weeks settled in an apartment on the Lower East Side, not very far, about a block and a half from where my husband and I live today. They had to learn a new language and make new friends. They came for a better life and for greater opportunities for their children and eventually their grandchildren. As one of those grandchildren, I benefited greatly from their daunting journey. Amazing journey, isn't it? At age 5, I contracted polio and have used the wheelchair ever since. My parents, like their parents, were extraordinary. They were hard workers. They learned to advocate to get me the education and services that I needed. They had taught me to advocate for myself, and eventually I was able to use my education and my experience to advocate for others who didn't have the ability to advocate for themselves. My life's work has been to push for integration of people with disabilities into the greater society and to acknowledge our contributions as people with disabilities and as Italian American women. I know that the influence of those who came before has been enormous, and I dedicate this wonderful honor to my grandparents, and especially my father, my mother, and my husband. My mother is, I'm sure, in heaven, looking at me and smiling from above. Thank you so very much for this wonderful award.
Carol Ann, thank you. That was so beautiful. I know she's smiling on you right now. Ladies, Nancy, Jennifer, and Carol Ann, to all of you, congratulations. You truly, all of you, personify what it means to be a wise woman. Congratulations. I now also want to thank our extraordinary sponsors whose names also appear on our program for your support throughout this program. Your generosity will help sustain us and advance us for another 40 years. This is a fitting time for me to acknowledge the extraordinary women on our board who worked so hard, my wonderful colleagues who worked so hard this year to connect all of us. My fellow NOIAW sisters are Aileen Riotto Sairi, our founder and chair emerita, Maria Tambori, our chair, Pat Tinto, president and former president of the Connecticut region, Diana Famia, our vice chair and president of the Greater Washington, D.C. region, Donna Corrado, our treasurer, Donna Carico, our secretary, Betty Santangelo, former NOIAW chair and program chair, Mary Rose Barranco Morris, president of the Greater New York region, Anne Marie Datello, national board member and former president of the Rhode Island region, Donna Di Matteo, Robin and Bimbo, Marianne Mattoni, Rebecca Monk-Rusiliano, Adrian Trigiani, Maria Volvo, and yours truly, Gemma Puglisi. And now we will hear from Adriana Trigiani, our newest board member, who will reflect on why NOIAW, its mission and members resonate strongly with her.
Hi, everybody. I'm Adriana Trigiani, and I am thrilled to be here today on behalf of NOIAW, the National Organization of Italian American Women. My heart fills with such love and pride when I say those words. This has been a long, hard battle, 40 years, and our organization is full of professional Italian women, mothers, sisters, aunts, grandmas, daughters. And we want everybody to join us because as a group, we're a force. We celebrate Italian American culture, our beautiful roots in Italy, the wonderful, wise women of this Epiphany, and how fitting that we choose the three wise women on Epiphany. So please join me in congratulating our honorees. And also, we'd like to extend this honor of membership to you. Please join us. Together, there isn't anything we can't accomplish. And it's about time Italian American women stood their ground, said their piece, and made their points. Thanks for having me.
As chair of the membership committee, I strongly encourage those looking for the inspiration, connection, and the empowerment we share tonight to please join us. Visit www.noia.org/become a member to learn more. And don't forget, men can join too. We love when our fathers, uncles, and brothers join us in the solidarity of our heritage. If you would like to donate in honor of or in memory of a loved one, please visit our website. It's a beautiful way to celebrate and acknowledge the wise women of our own families, like Mom or Nonna or Zia too. And please watch your inboxes for the save the date for NOIAW's annual gala in May of 2022. A very special thank you to region presidents Diana Famia and Mary Rose Barranco Morris and acting Connecticut President Pat Tinto, who spearheaded the Wise Women events locally and play a major role in our annual Epiphany celebrations. Their diligence in this great endeavor is just as steadfast this year as any other. I would be remiss if I did not give a special shout out to our board member and program chair, Betty Santangelo, for helping us envision and execute the Epiphany tradition in this untraditional, but just as meaningful way. And I can't forget our wonderful NOIAW office staff, Charity Martinez, our amazing program coordinator. Thank you for handling the preparation for this event, from the invitation and graphic design, the registration, the technical support, and the back end of everything you saw tonight, with the administrative support of Amanda Seaman, who recently joined our office staff as program associate and administrative assistant. And now, my colleague Charity will announce the winners of our raffle prize drawing. So don't go away. NOIAW's office staff pulled the names of these winners 1 hour before this event started this evening. Charity.
Thanks, Gemma. If your name is called as one of the winners for these great prizes, you will be contacted after the event on how to collect your prize. So let's get started. For one virtual cooking lesson with chef and author Ana Francescas goes to Francesca Noon. Congratulations. A copy of La Befana and the Star by Kate West goes to Laura Michele. Congratulations. A copy of My Chickens and I by Isabella Rossellini goes to Mary Barnaby. One virtual meditation session with Stacy DeGregorio, owner of Lotus Heart Mindfulness, goes to Anne Marie Salerno. Virtual Italian lessons from the Connecticut Italian Teachers Association goes to Anna Maria Larson. A copy of Mediterranean Lifestyle for Dummies by Amy Riolo goes to Sharon Leggio Falchuk. A copy of La Dolce Vita University, an Unconventional Guide to Italian Culture by Carla Gambeschia goes to Karen Galbo. Congratulations, winners.
Thank you so much, Charity, again, for your extraordinary work. And congratulations to Nancy, Jennifer, and Carol Ann, and all of our amazing 2022 Wise Women. We're so proud of you. And to all our NOIAW members and guests, thank you so much for joining us and helping us acknowledge the accomplishments of these amazing, strong Italian American women. For those of you who signed up for our live honorees reception, which follows this, there will be a meeting link that was just sent to you when you registered. So please join us. I again like to thank everyone in my NOIAW sisters for being your moderator this evening. It was such an honor and a privilege to do it. Here's to a safe, happy, and a very healthy 2022 to all of you. Buon anno, ciao, ciao, and thank you so much.